Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to your Thursday virtual maths lesson. This is your last virtual maths lesson of the week, as tomorrow's lesson will be a place value recap. So today's lesson will be a review of everything you have learned about perimeter and area over the past 2 weeks. So the first thing you went over with Mrs. Moore last week was measuring the perimeter of a 2D shape. So the perimeter is the distance around the outside of a 2D shape. In order to measure the perimeter, we must add up the length of all of the sides. So here you have a hexagon and you have a ruler. So how would you go about measuring the perimeter? What I imagine you would do is you would take your ruler and you would measure each side of the hexagon in turn. And then once you have done each of these 6 sides, you will have these measurements. So 4 of the sides measure at 5 centimetres each, and 2 of them are 6 centimetres. So, as you know, to work out the perimeter, you add together the length of all of the sides. So, what I would do is I would firstly add together each of the sides that is 5 centimetres, just to make it a bit easier for myself. So I would do 5, add 5, add 5, add 5, which equals 20. Or I would do a little bit quicker, 4 multiplied by 5, which equals 20. Then I would go on to the sides that are 6 centimetres, and again I would add them together. So I would do 6, add 6, which equals 12. Or I could do 2 multiplied by 6. As well equals 12. As we know, multiplication is repeated addition. So then I have those lengths. I simply add them together. 20 plus 12 we know is 32. So the perimeter of this hexagon is 32 centimetres. So the next topic we covered was calculating the perimeter. So here we have a shape, a 2D shape, and we know that in order to calculate the perimeter, we must add up the length of all of the sides. So we have most of the sides measured out here, but we do not have the top side. We do not know the length of the top side. So how would we go about working out the length of this side? As once we know the length of this side, we can add together each of these sides to work out, so calculate the perimeter. So what we can see here along this top side is that we know that this side here is 9 metres in length, and then we know that this side here is 7 metres in length, and together, so that would mean that this line here is 7 metres in length, as it is parallel to here. So we know that this is 7 metres and this is 9 metres. So together we know that this top side is 16, excuse my wobbly writing, 16 metres in length. Brilliant. So now we have the length of all of the sides, and in order to calculate the perimeter, we simply need to add them all together. So have a go at doing that, and we'll work it out on the next slide. So together we worked out all the lengths of the different sides, and then next step to calculate the perimeter is we simply add them all together. So you'll all have your own methods of doing this. Some of you might be able to do it mentally. Some of you might see bonds between numbers that you then make other numbers. You might, for example, have seen the 2 9 metres and change that to 18, but I've simply just written it out length by length so that it works out like this, and then we can work out that the perimeter of this shape is 60 metres. So the next topic you came across was area of rectangles. So here we have a rectangle. We know that its length is 12 centimetres and its width is 4 centimetres. I wonder if you can remember how do we work out the area of this rectangle? Brilliant. I'm sure you all remembered that to work out the area of a shape, you times the length by the width. So we know the length is 12 centimetres and the width is 4 centimetres. So we will do 12 times by 4, which we know equals 48. So the area of this rectangle is 48 centimetres squared. Well done if you got that right. And if you didn't, just have another look through this formula and think where you might have gone wrong. Next up in your learning came working out the area of compound shapes. So, looking at this compound shape, can you remember what a compound shape is? I'm sure all of you were able to remember a compound or composite shape is a shape made up of two or more basic shapes. So, this shape here is a compound shape and it is made up of two rectangles. So you will have come across questions that said calculate the area of this compound shape. So the first thing we know to do is to split the compound shape into the two basic shapes we can see. So we can see that this compound shape is made up of two rectangles. So we drew a line so that we could separate these two shapes. And then what we need to do is work out the area of this rectangle and then work out the area of this rectangle. And once we have those two areas, we add them together in order to calculate the area of the entire shape. So we've therefore calculated the area of the compound shape. So we know that to work out area of a rectangle, we multiply the length by the width. So we would do 9 multiplied by 7, which we know equals 63 centimetres squared. We would then move on to the next rectangle and we would multiply the length by the width. So we would do 4 multiplied by 12 or 12 multiplied by 4. And we know that that is 48 centimetres squared. So therefore we have the area of this shape and the area of this shape. So now what we need to do is add them together. So we have 63 add 48. So what we will do is do 3 add 8, which we know is 11. So we would put the 1 here and carry the 10. And then we're in our tens column. So we would do 60 plus 40, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus another 1 we know is 11. So we know that, oh, excuse my writing again. We've added 2 together, the area of both of these rectangles, and we've worked out that the area of this compound shape is 111 centimetres squared. Okay, Year 5, now it's over to you to complete your worksheet of the day, which is a review of everything you've learned over the past 2 weeks to do with perimeter and area. Now remember, if you get stuck on anything at any point, you can come back to this YouTube clip, which has an overview of everything, or if you want slightly more specific instructions, you still have access to all the videos that have been posted on YouTube over the past few weeks, so you can find those there. Good luck, I'm sure you'll do brilliantly, and I'm looking forward to seeing your work.